Thanks for joining us here on Unchained on Pahrump News. I'm your host, Donna O'Donnell. So glad that you can join us. Well, we're going to have some special guests here today, and one of them is Donna Corey, and joined with her is Karen McKale. We're going to talk a little bit about the project, the Pahrump Main Street Project, and a little bit about real estate and what's happening with Donna and some of the programs that she's in charge of. But first, a little bit about what's happening in your local news. A high-speed pursuit occurred on Saturday morning. The suspect was taken into custody by the Nye County Sheriff's Office. We're going to give you a little bit of details on that pursuit. It started on Highway 160. The suspect, Joshua Jenkins, was arrested. He is facing charges of driver disobeying a peace officer, possession of a Schedule 1 and 2 controlled substance, battery with use of a deadly weapon, felony bench warrant, duty to stop at an accident with attended vehicle or property damage, selling or transferring a Schedule 1 or 2 controlled substance, prohibited violent sex offender registration, and habitual criminal. According to police, on August 31st, deputies were dispatched to a hit and run in the area of Highway 160 and 372. Details provided that a vehicle described as a white GMC was traveling on the highway, and there was a male driver behind the wheel. The vehicle then allegedly fled from police at the scene of the accident. The GMC was traveling northbound on Highway 160 in the area of Simpkins, and failed to yield to police attempting to conduct a traffic stop. Police say that it was also passing vehicles in no passing zones, traveling approximately 99 miles per hour. Deputies were able to successfully deploy stop sticks and were able to hit 3 tires on the vehicle, which quickly deflated. Jenkins' vehicle was also said to be traveling on the wrong side of the roadway at one point, and also went into the Home Depot parking lot. Officers were able to make a felony traffic stop in the area of Larkspur and Emery Street. According to the report, Jenkins' vehicle made contact with the passenger side of a patrol vehicle, leaving major damage to that vehicle, causing airbag deployment of that patrol vehicle. The deputy also sustained minor injuries as a result of Jenkins ramming their vehicle. Inside Jenkins' vehicle were 14 blue circular pills in a small plastic baggie. A records check also revealed that Jenkins allegedly failed his annual sex offender verification for statutory sexual seduction conviction out of Clark County. Deputies also say that Jenkins was in possession of 14 fentanyl pills. Joshua Jenkins was then transported to the Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention Center. A structure fire occurred this week on Winery Road. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies arrived on scene. Of course, Nye County Sheriff's Office auxiliary units to conduct traffic control. That was a stick-built home right there on Winery Road. The fire was in the area of the attic space right above the laundry room. It was quickly contained to that area and taken under control. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue says that there was no injuries at that time, and that was contained to that area. We want to thank Eddie O'Brien for those pictures. Well, the Pahrump DMV is open on a limited basis. Customers are now able to schedule appointments. The Pahrump Department of Motor Vehicles has been non-operational for just over a month because of a building fire and flooding from a broken pipe. But last Monday, the State Fire Marshal Office conducted their final inspection and gave the green light for reopening. Had operations resumed on August 29th. Due to severe damage of computers and other equipment, only 5 of the 10 windows were open for service. They are glad to report that there was no injuries reported and no records were destroyed in either of the incidents. Customers will now be able to schedule appointments in the Pahrump office, which can be made through the DMV's new appointment system. Walk-in services are offered. An electrical fire in the attic space above the main entrance of the building closed the building on July 26th. Then a water pipe burst in the early morning hours of August 6th, causing flooding that damaged carpets, drywall, and equipment. While the Pahrump office resumes walk-in service, the DMV asks customers to utilize their online service at dmvnv.gov whenever possible. As part of a $140 million investment from the Biden-Harris administration aimed to lower energy costs and create jobs in rural Nevada, Valley Electric Association was awarded $80.3 million to install a 37 mega solar power generation and storage system to serve Pahrump and Fish Lake Valley's regions. These projects are funded by President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act to spur economic growth in rural communities. The solar array will be built in Fish Lake Valley with battery backups at the Vista solar plant already built in Pahrump. For more detailed information, there's a video on Valley Electric's YouTube channel and Facebook page. And for full disclosure, I recorded and edited those videos for Valley Electric Association. All right, I'm here with Karen, McKale, and Donna Corey. We're going to talk a little bit about the Main Street project, because I think there's some misconception about where it came from, what it's about, and it's been kind of the talk of the town. One of the misconceptions is that you guys kind of came up with this on your own and kind of decided it on your own. Tell everybody where it came from and what's it about.
Okay, I work for Southwest Central Regional Economic Development Authority. Our region is Nye and Esmeralda County, and we work for the Governor's Office of Economic Development. Main Street is a program through the Governor's Office of Economic Development that has been taking place in Nevada for many years. It's grown exponentially in the past few years under the leadership of Sherry Davis with the Governor's Office. Main Street is a national program. There's a Main Street USA, and there's Main Streets in every state. And so we're just excited that we were able to bring it here. We found a director, Karen McKale, and we've just started setting up our chapter. The purpose of the Main Street program is to help rural areas, well, it can be rural or urban areas, develop their downtown, give themselves a sense of culture, beautify storefronts, and help with just many different areas of making your town have a better quality of life for its residents, and then in turn attract tourism and people visiting to help economic development.
It really does. And a lot of people, some of the comments were, well, we don't have a Main Street. This is not the point of this. And there's so many naysayers. Every time that something comes along that is possibly positive, there's always this negative kind of pushback, isn't there? And let's talk a little bit about what we're talking about when we're talking about Main Street here. I know that you guys are going to have kind of a survey going out there. There was a survey that went out there. I was even on that list of originally when that went out. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that.
Well, so we have it stood up now. We had to file for our nonprofit status. So we've done that, and that only happened, a few weeks ago. We have put a board together, and I am the director, and it is called Pahrump Valley Main Street. And so we are just getting started. And really, the plan is for us to do anything, we have to have grant money. So there's no money coming from the county or anywhere else. It comes 100% from grants. So we have to put a prospectus together. We have to pick maybe 4 or 5 projects that I can then go out and get grant money for those projects. And then of course, once we get the money, then we can actually do it. So our Main Street is from Calvada to Basin on 160. And I know you're all going, okay, that's a 4-lane highway. That is not this fun little Main Street like you see in the movies. And we are never going to have that kind of Main Street here. But there's not any reason why we can't, quote, beautify, add stuff, make little pockets, and do different things to make Pahrump just, not look like a piece of dirt. I want to do some accents,
And that was chosen by the state, wasn't it? Because they came through here and they kind of chose where they thought was the best area, right?
No, yeah. we had a consensus among the board and others that we talked to in the community, because where are the majority of our businesses? They're from Calvada to Basin. They're also down Calvada Boulevard to Pahrump Valley Boulevard, which we're including in our downtown, and on 372 down to Pahrump Valley Boulevard. Those are where the majority of our downtownish businesses are. So we wanted to include, and it can be changed. It can be added to. So it's just a place to start, basically. Thought it was the best place to start.
And the idea originally was to make that area more attractive and to clean it up for just businesses and for people who are coming through town, to make the town look more attractive. And one of the things that you talked about to make it less attractive to some people who were not, vagrants. We were talking about like not having trees for hanging out areas, maybe having more desert landscaping so that it be at least more, so that we didn't have a lot of grass, so that you didn't have to water it as much and things like that as well. And so that was also something that was even discussed when we were having conversations about it.
Well, and if you look at 170, if you drive that whole stretch, there's sidewalks missing. There's places we could put rock. We could do fake trees. We can do all kinds of, metal structures
160?
on 160. And even just doing those things. And we're not doing huge things. We're not buying land. We're not building buildings. We can't fix the roads. That is not in our mission at all. It is really small business things that could maybe make stuff better. So, again, some of the other towns, Tonopah, Goldfields, they both have Main Street programs. They have gone after fixing up their parks, having more trees, maybe putting in swing sets or playgrounds.
Some of the businesses have
like
put
that.
flowers and things like that in front of their businesses, and just things that made it more attractive in the front of their businesses.
Yeah, and things like that are very expensive. So
Right.
having a Main Street program, which is a 501c3, and everyone that works with the Main Street program is volunteer.
Yep.
Nobody gets paid. So, but it gives you access to grant money for those things because they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, it is.
So, what are you talking about for grants for this? What is the government saying that they might have available for the grants for this program?
Well, the first round of grants, 663.
663. Yep.
Yeah, they have given out all over Nevada. We weren't in that round, but there's also huge T-Mobile grants. There's more and more. As Main Street gets more and more popular in the United States, more and more grants become available from large corporations and people involved in small rural areas. The funding becomes more available. We'll be able to apply and
that's why it was important to set up the 501c3.
Yep. And the thing is, ironically, there are tons of corporations that have grants. People don't know, like the MGM Grand and Caesars in Las Vegas. There's a ton of grant money sitting in Las Vegas that we can go after as well. So we're going to go after the Main Street funds that are, available. We'll ask. They'll have to turn in our prospectus and do everything like a regular grant to get money from Main Street. But then I am going to go and look pretty much wherever I can, to get money. And we have a lot of private landowners who are super excited about this that could either joint venture with us or depending on, what they need done, it's possible we can get all the money to do it. And then, we have to hire contractors and things like that. We're not going to go out there and paint somebody's building, or put in a street light or do anything like that. So a lot of it is thinking up the projects, having the ideas, then, costing them out to figure out who is involved, who the players are involved, how much is it going to cost, because we have to have all those things answered before we can go after the money.
And a lot of the towns have done something where they do like a 50% grant program with a business to restore the facade on a brick and mortar business. So it's an assist to a lot of businesses. So hopefully we have some people interested right away, and hopefully once other businesses see this happen, it kind of provides a sense of hope
Yeah.
for some places that might have difficulty.
Well, and because we just started doing all of this, really a lot of people don't know we even exist. And so we're just trying to push out at this point. We're going to have a web page, and we'll have those projects listed, and maybe that's where the survey is. And people can submit ideas. I mean, we have an email that people can send me emails if they want, if they have an idea. It's kind of funny because the Pahrump Valley Times put out an article, and I looked at all the comments there, and there were hundreds of comments. And it was great because there are some phenomenal ideas that I am definitely going to look at now that I hadn't really thought of.
Yeah, yeah. The public does have a lot of good ideas about a lot of things, and it's amazing when you reach out there that things that you never thought of that they might have thought of. When you go to the people and they have different experiences. Originally, speaking to our planning director, Brett Wagner, he said that Calvada was originally going to be that Main Street area, that they were originally looking at that area for that type of walking with the storefronts and everything in that area. Who knows if that's ever going to come to fruition, but that is such a lovely area for that type of situation if it ever comes about.
And just to be very clear, that Main Street is not going to be run by this board.
Yeah.
Everything's done by committee. Anyone who wants to join a committee, anyone who has an idea, we welcome the input because that's how it needs to be done. It's a community-wide program.
Yeah, see, that's what I love committees. I'm
Yes.
all big into committees.
Well, and the other thing is, kind of a little bit of the purview of we're not trying to fix the infrastructure or the land or whatever, but we want to have a piece of this that is for like the festivals and the old Wild West Weekend.
Old
is that
West
what it's called?
Weekend?
Old West Weekend. I want to do food truck Fridays. So where can we do that? Where, and maybe that is on Calvada because everybody could bring, something to sit on, and we could have it under the trees and not in the middle of, nowhere.
A parking lot.
The parking lot. And a lot of it, the other places, it's like trees, and it's rocks and, maybe
Street
park
lights.
benches and street lights. So we have a lane to run in, and we have to stay in our bounds, and we will, but we'll be working mostly, again, with private landowners, the Nevada Department of Transportation, if it's on 160, and then we will work the county and the commissioners. We'll have to approve if we're doing something that is actually on county land.
And they know about us?
Yes, and they know who we are.
Yeah.
We went and talked with them, and we periodically will, keep that.
Yeah. It can only be positive, can it?
No.
I mean, is there a negative?
I
don't know.
Well, we don't get that cutesy little Main Street.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 4-lane drive-through town, and that's what we are. And you know what? Let's take it and run with it.
Yeah. All we want it to do is look better.
Yes.
This year,
that's it.
I went to the Main Street USA conference with Arlette Ledbetter, the director of tourism. And one of the most advantageous classes that I went to, it was a really busy 4 days, oh my gosh, was you got to sit at a table with other main streets that look like yours. So I got to sit at a table with 6 or 7 other people who have 4-lane highways going through their town.
Yeah.
So some of the things they've already done, some of the ideas they've done, the grants they've gone for, it's so nice to have that kind of huge support behind you,
Yeah.
and people you can call and get ideas from to make
see?
things. Yeah, happen.
Wow.
So we're not just an entity out there all by ourselves.
Creativity. Wow.
No, well, and again, they already went there, and they may have crashed and burned on something and say, yeah, just don't do that. Yeah, just don't go there.
Nobody needs to recreate the wheel here.
Yeah, no, that's just it. That is totally,
Because everybody's busy, but there was just great ideas, great input.
Yep.
NDOT is a big supporter also of the Main Street programs. They give a big assist to many of the programs all over the United States, or all over Nevada.
I mean, we really have had a lot of positive, support, and people are excited. And I hope that just turns into then they're going to help, because we will stand up the committees as we get the projects. So if we pick 4 projects, then we're going to have 4 committees. And if you want to be on a committee, that would be awesome. And what you're going to do is figure out how we do whatever it is, that if it's putting a street light up, how much does it cost? Where do we get it? And who needs to install it, and who needs to approve it, or permits or whatever, anything like that. So again, because all of that's going into that detailed prospectus that I'm building, so that we can go out and get the money. Because again, the grants, you might get $5,000 from here, and you might get $20,000 from here, and you have 4 projects that might add up to $100,000. So we may not get all the money, or the different grant programs may say, well, we're not so crazy about number 1, but we like number 2, so we'll give you the money to do number 2. Mm-hmm. And then you need to put that money towards number 2 and do it, and then tell them that that you did it, and that's done.
Fantastic. So, all right. Well, if people want to find out more,
I don't know. I do have an email, everyone.
There you go.
Okay, I wrote it down because it's so new I haven't memorized it yet. Okay, it's info PV for Pahrump Valley Main Street @gmail.com. All right. So info PV Main Street @gmail.com, and I would love to hear from all of you.
So Karen McKale is a real estate agent with who?
With Realty One, actually out of Las Vegas, but I do live here. And I do mostly real estate here and land. I am a retired engineer, so I was a retired water engineer, so I actually understand a lot about what is going on with this town and the aquifer and water and everything.
Like Deborah Strickland knows a lot about the water here and everything. Absolutely. My mom was like best friends with Deborah Strickland for years. My mom was a real estate agent for years here. Everybody probably knows my mom, Susan Strain. She was with Realty Executives for years, and Regina Paddock and over there. So I was just asked this recently. My mom used to talk about this all the time. Why do homeowners go to Vegas real estate agents to sell their property when most of the agents know Pahrump and know what's going on here in Pahrump way better? I mean, the thing is that they don't know what's going on here in town. I mean, I've seen this myself. Okay, so there's properties that I live around in my own neighborhood, and I know what's going on with that property, and I will see a Las Vegas real estate agent sign on that property, and I'm like, does anybody who is purchasing that property know what's really going on with that property?
Can I tell you,
it's
from
kind of shocking,
the point of view of economic development for this town, there are people who buy properties. I don't know why they're not informed that infrastructure is not there.
Right.
The cost to bring infrastructure there. They'll purchase a property. I recently had someone who wanted to put some affordable housing in for veterans. And because of the location, I mean, you may think you see that it's close to things, but when you really do the costing for what it's going to, what it's going to cost to bring all the utilities and everything to the property, it's not done correctly. And this person has that property back up for sale because they couldn't do their dream of helping veterans.
Why are they picking Vegas real estate agents?
I don't know
Why
if that's
do they
what
do
they
that?
did.
Yeah, I think sometimes they, they're from out of state. We have a lot of people, and they don't all come from California, by the way, and they don't all have cash.
I have a pet peeve about the California thing.
Yeah,
Not just because I originally came from California 20-something years ago, but because I think we pick on them. We're 13 miles from them. A lot of people are are from California here, it drives me crazy.
We get a lot of people actually from up north and up northeast, the Wisconsins and Minnesotas and Colorado. I'm from Colorado, and where it's cold because they're coming here to spend the winters where it's warm, and then they go back.
Yeah.
They go back and forth. So we really have this huge snowbird population.
We get people from all over the place.
Right. Yeah, we do.
Stop picking on people.
Yeah.
Be nice.
But I think they, they may have started in Vegas to look for something. And then they realize they cannot afford Vegas or there is no land in Vegas. The thing that is wonderful about Pahrump is we are rural, and that's the whole point. And my husband and I came here on purpose because we helped with a dog rescue. And so we wanted land so that we have room for the dogs. And a lot of people have horses out here. We have goats. We have chickens. And there's no place in Vegas to do that. So some of them started in Vegas and moved out to Pahrump. So that's why they drug their realtor with them. The other thing is I sometimes people don't think maybe that there's no real estate agents out here. And if they just Googled, there's a ton. And I laugh because they're on all the billboards.
My theory is that they think that they have a wider MLS and that they don't understand the MLS. That they think that if you're a Pahrump agent that you're just selling to Pahrump people.
Right.
And that if you are from Vegas that you have a wider net. And they don't understand that it's the same MLS.
No, that's true too. And the thing is there are a lot of agents here that just sell here. And that's their choice. The reason I went with Realty One in Vegas is because I wanted to do Vegas and Pahrump. And again, there are several of us that do both and it works fine. But yeah, I laugh because we have phenomenal real estate agents out here and they all do tons of marketing, yet then we get that Las Vegas guy that comes out, and I shouldn't say guy, person comes out, and puts their sign up to sell
So this
land
is a
or
plug
whatever.
For
Yes.
real estate agents in Pahrump.
It absolutely
It really
They're
is.
your
I'm
local real
not,
estate
and I am biased and there because
Yep.
I got to tell you, the agents know what you're selling. They know what they know what is happening with the schools. They know what's happening with the ground. They know what's happening with the water. They know what's happening with the properties surrounding that. They know what's happening with the easements. They know what's going on.
The wind.
And the wind. And I got to tell you, you buyer beware because when you are buying from a Vegas agent, they are not aware of the daily ins and outs of what is going on with
electricity,
that property.
sewer, septic,
100%
water,
and it's like buying from.
super important.
I mean, they're just trying
We
to
don't
make their
have
sale.
a lot of HOAs, but again, the opposite is true. If you don't work in the Vegas market, you don't understand there's all those HOAs. There's all kinds of other things. Summerlin has their own set of rules, don't go into Summerlin unless you know what's going on there. So I think there are strengths both places, and very few people actually have the strength in both places. Yeah. So yeah, you should absolutely, if you want to be in Pahrump, you need to find a Pahrump real estate agent.
And I can say this from experience with my mother, but I can also say this from just myself being here. I know so much of the history of this town that I can tell you just things that I've learned, and I will go. I will just think, gosh, if I hadn't known that history of that story of what happened back there, I would be just lost.
You don't realize that people don't go to the planning department and pull out the regulations either to build. They just think they're just going to come here and plop themselves down somehow, and poof, their house is going to show up. And we do actually have some phenomenal custom builders here in this town too. Yeah. That do an awesome job. So yeah, it's kind of funny that we're kind of having growing pains because we are growing. Yeah. And I don't think maybe the outside world sees that so much. And too bad, because it's great here.
Yeah. Yeah, don't tell anybody that.
Yeah, exactly. Stay in Las Vegas. Don't come here.
There you go. All right, Donna. Let's talk about your organization. I can never remember the name of it. I know it's SWE something.
It's so long. It's embarrassing.
It's funny.
It's embarrassing.
I know. Is there any way to shorten that?
Well, previously, I work with Paul Miller. He's the executive director, and he previously covered just Nye County, which is enough, right? Then they gave him Esmeralda County. Mm-hmm. So that's why we are Southwest Central Regional Economic Development Authority. So we're all up and down 95 all the time. And he was doing this by himself for a very long time. I don't know how he did it. But
is that Paul Miller that used to be with the town board or
I don't think so.
Okay, different Paul Miller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's been the executive director there for 8 or 9 years. Okay. Yeah, I started working with him about 3-4 years ago.
All right, so tell me what you guys do.
So, as an economic development authority, we are also a 501c3. But we're supported by the Governor's Office of Economic Development, and we answer to them. So that's one reason that for Main Street is that's one of their mandates that they gave us. We also help small businesses for free. Well, I shouldn't say just small, because we have some larger entities that have wanted to come in, tried to come in, are working on coming in. We're constantly working, with anyone that wants to come into town. And so we have to keep ourselves aware, just as we were talking about previously, about infrastructure, about what's going on with the town, about what's possible, about the water issues, so companies that want to come in and perhaps improve our economic, growth here. We advocate for the town. We advocate for the businesses. Now, for the most part, I work with small businesses, which is wonderful. And we have a lot of little niches to fill in this town. And it's very exciting when somebody comes in with a new idea and wants to help. And it just builds our economic base and keeps us going. I also am the Rural Business Advisor for SBDC, Small Business Development Center. And they do a lot of the very same things. But what's exciting to me is that having access to SBDC, which is housed at UNR in Reno, I have the ability to work with one of the best things is the interns. So if you need to write your business plan, if you need to do a feasibility study, if you need to do your financial projections, which everybody should do so that they know what they're doing when they start a business, you can have help from a student who's an economics major, a marketing major. They know more than I do. I mean, they're being educated right now in the fields of marketing that we wouldn't have thought of, right? However many years ago when we were doing business things. So all of those things are available to everybody, and they're free. They're all free, which is super cool.
And you're located right in the Hafen building right there above Nevada State Bank?
Above Nevada State Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're above Nevada State
Bank.
Oh,
the Hafen building's right next door.
Yeah, they're next door.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to make sure that I brought up was that we do microloans. So, especially in this economy, we've been very popular. We do $500 to $10,000 loans at very low interest rates compared to what. So if somebody needs inventory, if they need, tenant improvements, if they need help getting their business started, we do have microloans for that type of thing. And we have helped many, many businesses local in town over the past 7-8 years.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's one of the most fun parts of what I do.
And tell me about that program that you just started. She was calling it Lemon Program. The Lemon Program.
Launch Rural Nevada. Yeah, I want to plug Launch Rural Nevada. If you're an entrepreneur, if you have an idea, and you want to develop this idea and get a business started, we have a way. It's called Launch Rural Nevada. You can go on the website, just search for it and you can find it. And you can be coached. You do a series of courses that helps you flesh everything out, which will show you how a business gets started. And you'll do a pitch deck. And on November 8th, you can go to GBC. I'll be working with the director of GBC there to help house this. It begins in Elko, and people from all over the state get to pitch their ideas. And there are funds available, grant money available and it's for adults, and there's a youth track.
Wow.
So we have somebody who sells cookies, who's developed their business. They sell cookies at their school. We have someone in Ely who started a store and is just doing phenomenal. It's just so fun and just so helpful to rural businesses. So if you have an idea, please get a hold of me.
All right. How'd they get a hold of you?
dcorey.swakretta@gmail.com.
Secreta.
Greta. That's how you
Do
do
I
it.
need to spell it?
Yes. Yes. Have you ever not had to spell it?
Yeah,
I mean, like ever? Like ever in your life?
No, it's terrible.
Stiltskin.
Yeah,
Exactly.
DCOREY.SWCREDA@gmail.com.
There you go. All right. All right. And thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, I had a great time with you guys
Thank you,
today.
Deanna.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.